everyone, so this video is going to be about weight gain, and I have been kind of really toying with the idea of talking about this or not talking about this. I kind of can't decide if I want to put it out there or not, or if I feel like talking about it or not. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It's kind of a little bit tricky, but I feel like a lot of the times with these videos, some people can find them very annoying because they feel like you're just whinging and not really doing anything, and I totally get that. But at the same time, those of you who kind of have body issues will understand that it's not always as simple and as easy as that. And I have, talked very, very openly about the fact that I've gained weight. I've gained so much weight. I'm so big right now for me that it's not great. Like, I'm not saying by any means that I'm obese or anything, but for me and for my height, I'm very, very big. And I recently had a comment, and I know people are kind of might be rolling their eyes and thinking, oh, why are you bringing this up? Just get on with it kind of thing. But I had a comment on a video from someone who hadn't watched my videos for a while, and then she tuned in and she said, like, God, you've gained so much weight. I used to always think you were just an average sized girl. Now I look at you and I see a really big person, and I don't mean to bring you down. Maybe you'll take this as inspiration. And I wanted to talk to you about whether or not you think it's right to say to someone how much weight they've gained, because I have always been someone who maintains that you should never ever say that to somebody, because I know how that feels. All my life I've had people say that to me, even when I'm like skinny, well, not skinny, but even when I'm like, my thinnest. I've had people tell me that I need to lose weight. Have I thought about losing weight? I need to lose weight. And it can be so like soul destroying. It's just really, really hard to hear from people what you already know. And that's something that I find very weird, because I think sometimes people are genuinely trying to help you. Because, for example, my mum has said to me, like, you're not happy when you're bigger because you're not happy within yourself. And that's true. And that's people who only care about you and they want you to be happy. But at the same time, when you're making a video about eyeliner and someone on the internet sort of says to you, like, God, you're really big now, you can't not get offended by that. There's so many people that say, like, you need to toughen up, grow a thicker skin. That's just, YouTube for you. You chose to do this. And I totally get that, and I totally respect that. But it is very hard to not get offended by it, because it is really hurtful. And I just always kind of have the opinion of, there isn't really a need to say it to someone unless it's getting to a point where they're really unhappy and their health is in jeopardy. Then intervene. But otherwise, I just think, like, I own a mirror. I can see. I know. Do you think that kind of it makes me happy? It doesn't make me happy. I'm doing what I can do, and I'm not doing the best that I can do. I fully admit that. And I'm actually going on holiday for 2 weeks in the end of March, and I really, really need to get my get back in the game, because I just will not feel confident at all being the weight that I am. But it's really difficult. You struggle with it when you have issues, and I'm not someone who can do it easily, and I have to be really dedicated and work really hard. And I know I've kind of shied away from talking a lot about weight loss and that kind of thing on this channel, because I just felt like sometimes it was getting a bit depressing, kind of sharing my battles and my demons all the time, and people can kind of take it the wrong way, and sometimes people would get offended and say, like, if you think you're big, then what am I? And I kind of tried to stay clear from it a little bit. That was why I wasn't sure about this video, because I'm not really sure what the point I'm trying to make is, because it's kind of like, I've gained weight, I know that, I'm trying, I could be trying harder, I will 100% agree with that, but I've got other things going on, and I'm aware that that sounds like an excuse. And for some reason, when you say that, it always infuriates men on YouTube. They'll always comment and be like, that's just excuses, go to the gym and blah blah blah. But I don't want to kind of share every tiny little reason of why everything's going on. As much as kind of I do talk about my battles and that kind of thing on here, that doesn't mean that I want to share every tiny little detail and every tiny little thing that's making me unhappy, because sometimes kind of just admitting it makes you feel worse. And I am trying, you know, really hard to get back into shape, and I will get back into shape. I am not happy this weight. I will get back and be the best that I can be. But when people point it out to you, it is so demotivating, because it's just like, I know, like, it's not inspiring. It's not going to make me kind of want to try even harder. It's just upsetting. It's upsetting. And what we should be doing is we should be encouraging people. And I had a friend who had gained quite a lot of weight, and she was quite down about it. She didn't really talk about it, but every now and then she'd say things. And I always used to say to her, like, but you know, you still look gorgeous, and when the time's right and when you want to tackle it, you will, and it will be great and it will be amazing, and it's fine. Because I just feel like, what's the point in being like, yeah, you really need to sort that out. It's hurtful. And anyone that says that, you know, it's inspiring and it's motivating and tough love or whatever, you know, maybe for some, but for a lot of people, it isn't. It's just a little bit hurtful. And I will admit, when that comment came through, I was sat on the computer and I read it, and I could feel the tears kind of coming up, and I was trying to ignore it. And I phoned my sister and I said, I sent her a screenshot of it, and I said to her, like, look at this. And she hadn't seen it yet, and I phoned her up, and then she picked up, and I just burst into tears, and she was like, oh, what's the matter? And I said, and then she was just like, you know, don't listen to them, just ignore them. But it is really, really hurtful. And I'm not ashamed to say that, like, I probably cried for like 15 minutes over that, which I know sounds really ridiculous, but it was really upsetting to me. It was like, you know, oh, you're a really big woman now, and it was just like, I know, I'm working on it. I'm trying, I'm really trying. Like, pointing it out isn't helping me. And that's kind of the point of this video that I wanted to make, in that I'm sure lots of you, wait, I need a water break. My cough's so annoying, it won't go away. I've had it for literally like 2 weeks now. It's like a dry, tickly cough, and your throat always feels weird. I put Vicks on last night, and even that didn't help. But yeah, I'm sure a lot of you struggle with it as well, and you know kind of how unhelpful it is. And like I said, if it is something that's to do with your health, or if it's someone that you know will take that criticism lovingly, then by all means, if you feel like you need to say it to them. But I just think sometimes we need to think a little bit more. I'm talking too much and I'm getting the air into my throat, and it's kind of making it drier. You need to think a little bit about what that person must be feeling, especially one part of that comment. She said that I looked like I'd let myself go, and that really hit me. That really, really upset me, because I kind of thought, well, you know, like, you just don't want people to think that way about you. It's hurtful. It really is hurtful. And I have started kind of watching what I'm eating again. I have lost a little bit of weight. You can't see it yet because I've kind of got quite a bit to lose now. But I'm going to do it, and I'm going to, you know, I've sat here a million times and said this before, and I have been doing it. I just haven't been showing you everything I'm doing, because I want to kind of get my head around it first before putting it all on YouTube. Last time was different. I kind of felt like I wanted to share it. This time, I don't know, I just feel a little bit differently. Maybe I just feel a bit embarrassed for having to do it again, you know. But yeah, that's kind of the end of this video, really. Probably just me chatting and completely incoherent, but I'm sure that a lot of you can understand, and I'd love to know kind of your struggles and that kind of thing. And if you think it's helpful, or if you think it's offensive, let me know your thoughts. I'd love to know, and I love you all lots, and I will see you next time.